Hi there, and welcome to Reflections with Rhonda Jones. And my co-host is, I'm going to let her say her own name today.
Monica Livingston.
Now you know why.
This month.
Now you know why I don't let her say her own name. She forgets in between. And next,
And Kimberly Johnson.
and Kimberly Johnson, Ruthie Wyburn, and Monica Livingston. I call her Mo. But anywho,
That's what I was hesitating on, because I was like, should I just say Mo?
that's true. Most people know you by Mo. We're going to be familiar here. We already have a viewer comment that says knock 'em dead and not literally, so I don't think we will. We're going to start out with something, I don't want to say funny because it's not right to do, but some things I think are funny and they're really not right to do, but they strike me as funny, and I'm confessing that. Not that I have to, but I just freely did. But I read this week that a woman, and I forget where she's from, I'm going to have to say the Deep South and pick on us, but I'm not so sure. I sent you a link to it, but anywho. This woman she was pregnant. She ran down her husband with her car because he did not vote. Now, this is what her opinion is. She says that she was upset because I guess he was going to vote opposite of Obama, and because his vote didn't get in and didn't count or whatever, she was just sure that Obama's going to ruin the country or whatever. But that's your own opinion. However, you crew member.
Did you give me a signal to do that?
Crew member. All right, crew member. But this lady ran down her husband and put him in the hospital. I think critically put him in the hospital because he did not go and rock the vote, I guess. And the funny part to me was her mugshot. It showed a picture of her mugshot, and she still looked ticked off. I mean, this woman was upset. I mean, she was like, she was still mad at the man after she ran him over, it looked like. I mean, my goodness, what's the world coming to, women? Now, I don't want you to actually, unless you want to, confess, but have you ever thought about, I don't know if y'all even have the guts to say the
I
truth.
think we should start with her. What do y'all think?
Have you ever thought about running somebody down?
Well, not necessarily run him over, but like a significant other. Have you ever even considered like bashing his head in with a baseball bat, a shovel?
No.
Really?
No, Rick's so easygoing.
Nope.
No. He's never.
I haven't either.
We knew that.
No, I was just seeing if y'all did.
Okay, because you were going to help us out.
Yeah, I was
if
on
we
council.
had that problem. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, of course not. I've never ever thought about being aggressive or hitting somebody in the head with one of those little shovels, sharpshooters. No, I'm getting into detail exactly what
You've never done.
Which I've never done.
Okay.
And never would do. But I mean, she was a very serious, rock the vote type of woman.
Okay,
She was not in her right
I was
mind.
going to say, is she blaming the pregnancy hormones or?
Well, I try to give her a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, and I thought, well, maybe, pregnant,
Did the
but
article say like she was trying to scare him? Or?
can we hear you at all?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I don't know if I'm asking.
Well, he got behind a tree, and, he tried to dodge her, but
Well, she swerved to really.
Yes.
She was not
on
trying
the-
to scare
On
him.
the news, it said she was driving around in the parking lot, driving circles around him. And when he ran to try to get away and stuff,
She
she-
hit him.
ran him over.
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, she was really serious about this election.
My goodness.
Maybe too serious?
Maybe slightly.
Maybe too serious? We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with my microphone. Sorry.
Oh, for Pete's sake, crew member.
I don't know what to do.
I tell you what, I'll go ahead and carry the show like I normally have to with you.
Go ahead.
But ladies, please don't ever get so upset with your man that you have to run him over.
No, yeah.
Especially,
Yes,
you know, he didn't vote. I mean, a lot of people don't vote. I'm not saying it's good not to vote, but if you don't vote, you don't vote. But I'm
Not
thinking,
putting the laundry in the laundry basket or.
That I
not
could
putting the
see.
dishes in the sink.
that makes sense to me, but not vote. But anyway, we need to really send our good wishes for the husband to make a speedy recovery, and I'm assuming contact a good divorce lawyer.
I would, okay.
I'd be
yeah.
afraid to, wouldn't you be afraid to sleep? Ruthie,
I don't know. I don't think I would want to live in the same house with someone that was that angry at me, but I don't know all the circumstances, and you know, everybody deserves a second chance. That's just my opinion, my view. And if they could talk it out, and she could see someone to help her to straighten out her thinking,
Not different
maybe,
departments,
yeah.
Access
Yeah.
to knives or
Yes.
baseball bats.
yeah, but
shovels.
I mean, that's good for her to receive help, but while she's receiving all that help, I would be afraid to live in the same house with her, you know, and I do believe she needs a second chance to figure out what has transpired to make you so loco. But I don't think I could stick around in the same house with her while she's undergoing her treatment. I would support her
Yeah.
from afar.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
could- yes.
But you're exactly right. People do deserve second chances because, you know, God is such a marvelous God. We talk about his unconditional love all the time. And with that unconditional love comes unconditional patience and unconditional, you know, perseverance with us. I mean, he has everything attributed to us that is good to be very unconditional. And I'm thankful for that. If we could be more like him. You know, I do want to just thank him right now for not, you know, giving up on us. And so we shouldn't give up on other people too. But there's always a question in my mind that where do you draw the line? Where do you say, you know, I'm still going to love you, but, you know, you're going to have to be over there and I'm going to have to stay over here. I don't know. What do you think, Monica?
I think it's different for everybody. I think it depends on the circumstance. In that circumstance there, I'm with you. I don't think that I'd want to be in the same house and put myself into that situation where I could do something that would set the person off again. I'd want to see that they got help, and of course, you know, they don't just have the marriage, but I guess I'm assuming a lot that, you know, he's the father of the child possibly, and, you know, so there's going to be a connection there, and you hope that they can work it out, but at the same time, I really think that I would have to distance myself and, you know, harm coming to you or harm coming to your children. I think that would be a definite line that I'd have to
Right.
probably draw.
You'd have to consider the
Yeah,
child.
yeah. And if she's carrying a child, something needs to be done so that that child won't come into harm. And that's the reason I say she needs to receive help, someone that can help her straighten out the way her mind's working.
Kimberly?
Yeah, and I was, you know, if she attempted to hurt, or if it was me, and my husband attempted to hurt me, I would be more willing to give a second chance than if he had attempted to hurt a child. Which,
yeah.
you know, you read about that all the time in the paper. I hurt a kid because I want to get back at you.
Sure.
You know, that's a line to me that would be more difficult to say I
Right.
forgive or I can trust you again. And once trust has been broken like that, and I'm assuming if she tried to run him down with a car,
And
that
did.
there's a trust issue now,
Yeah.
that it would take time to build that back up. And I definitely would want to do that from afar if someone had tried to physically harm me.
Yeah, that's true. And you bring up a good point. Usually the, I'm going to call it perpetrator, the person that has the anger issue, does take it out on the person they want to hurt with the children. And so I would be so afraid of her with the baby. You know, we did a show on women who kill their infants, and for some reason it had technical difficulties and it never really aired, and I really want to do it again because there are so many instances of women that kill their own children for various reasons. And we found out that for the most part, they kill their children because of religion. Or even if they don't attend a church, they kill a child because they think God told them to,
Right.
or Satan told them to. I mean, there's so many different things, but it all stems from this false concept of who God is, really, and their cultural meme of what they grew up with, believing that a sacrifice is, and why wouldn't you? If, God told Abraham to go sacrifice his son, if God sacrificed his son, why wouldn't I sacrifice my son? Their mind goes into these circles, and it's such a dangerous loop. And we really need to do that show, and it's horrible. We even have some footage of a woman who actually took her son, I think he was 17 or 18, to a shooting range. Like, they were going to go shoot, and like we've taken our sons to shooting ranges and had a good time just shooting targets. But
But
she
they weren't the target.
right, but the child wasn't the target, but this child was, and so
Right.
the child was, making a stance, and the mother got behind him and just popped him in the head.
It wasn't the one where she believed she was actually like the Antichrist or the devil
Yeah, that
or
woman
something.
was so
and
tormented. It was horrible.
Right.
it just broke your heart.
Yep. And if she killed him, then he would be at least saved from her, And wow, we've really gotten screwed up in what and who God is. And so that's one of the biggest thrusts, I think, of the New Covenant group, is to bring you the truth. And we always say that, this honesty, this intellectual honesty and scriptural and spiritual honesty, so you'll have the right tools to work with. Because if you have a false sense of a sacrificial system that really isn't into play nowadays, shouldn't be. It wasn't when Christ was alive. But if you feel that way, you're going to base your decisions on that.
Right.
And we've all been in churches.
Right.
That's right.
Where the moral of the story with Abraham was that he obeyed God, not that he was getting ready to murder his son.
Right.
That's not what's brought out. Same thing with Noah. It's brought out that Noah obeyed God, so he's in this boat, and all these other people, they're not even part of the story. Although all of these people are murdered,
Right.
but that's not that's not in the storyline that you are given to teach the children, and you teach what you're given, unless you're getting other teaching, which I wasn't, But and I think back how you tell, you misconstrue what's really written and only tell what you feel like the children need to hear,
Yes,
and that's not right.
that's right. Exactly. And we've all been teachers of some age group or not, and we've all told the story with the slant of a denomination or withholding the truth,
But I think a
The
lot
whole
of us
truth.
were possibly blind to the truth then. We were believing what we had been raised and taught,
Right.
and weren't really reading it and seeing the bigger picture, that if Abraham was obeying God, then God, who is supposed to be all loving and all kind and everything, was actually commanding one of his children to kill their children. And how crazy
exactly.
is that? But we glossed over that in our minds, and then we passed it on. So
But I have to say, whether I was in the church hearing it or today, and I promise you with all my heart, if Jesus Christ himself stood right here today in our studio and said, Rhonda, go kill, just pick any of your children and I want you to sacrifice them, I just would not do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't care if God, Jesus Christ himself would tell me to do that. Who would actually do it?
Yeah.
That's why that's so unbelievable now. But yet we see things every day in the paper where people do sacrifice their children based on what they think God told them in their head. They think it might have been audible or something. There's a lot of, mental illness associated with bad theology. There really is.
Yeah, I am so thankful that some of my family, some of my younger members of my family see God in a different light. They don't believe in God. They believe in a creator, but not God. And it's not that they don't believe in God, it's that they don't believe in the God of the Old Testament, the wrathful God.
That's right.
And I'm so thankful that they had this mindset even before my mindset spread so far. I had these little nibblings, but it wasn't to the extent that they did. And I'm so thankful that they took the steps. So
All right.
Very good. No, speaking of that, God is always portrayed as a father, as a male. What do y'all think about that? I'm going to start with Kimberly.
Personally,
Yeah, personally, opinions. Let's
okay.
go.
I think God transcends male and female. I think he expressed himself male because the culture of the time wouldn't hear anything else. It was a very male-dominated society.
We're bought and sold like
Both
cattle.
Rome and Jewish, historically, they were male-dominated. And if he'd come as a daughter and called himself mother, I don't think anybody would have listened.
Why not?
So it was just God expressing himself in a way that they would understand. But I think God is so far beyond gender that, to me, it's he, she, it doesn't really matter.
Right. That sounds good. Ruthie?
well, even in our time now, when sometimes we say he, and it includes male and female, and we don't think of it as when you say he did so and so or whatever, you don't necessarily think that there's a boy or a man standing there. But I agree with Kimberly that he knows both male and female and the deepest, darkest part of each one. But back during the first century, women weren't worth anything. So I think the purpose would have been defeated had he come as a woman. He would have probably been killed as a child, instead of. So I agree that it's not that he is male or female. It's just that was at the time that was the best way to be.
Mo?
Yeah, I totally agree. I can see the point there entirely. If you do look at the Old Testament, women weren't counted when they, told the stories of the loaves and fishes and stuff and how many men and boys were there, men and children. They weren't counting any of the female, and they were bought and sold like cattle. And so they didn't have a role in that society except to, be seen and not heard and, type thing. And so I really don't believe that, they would have listened. I think it's a very valid point. And I remember growing up, my mom used to say that won't people be surprised, if they end up going to heaven and, God's not this big white man with a beard, he's a black man or a black woman. And
Sure.
I don't know that she literally believed that he might be, not a specific gender, but, it was just, I do remember hearing that, because so many people were like, they had this image of God in their mind, and that's what they had. And it's easy to see how, that's what happened in the Old Testament. They had this image of God in their mind,
Right.
and they wrote it down and passed it on. And
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I do believe what all y'all are saying and respect your opinions. I don't even know that he came out, I want to say, of the chute as, obviously we know he came as a male child. But when he first expressed himself to people before that, I don't even know that he did that. I think they assumed it.
Yes.
And they wrote it down as, father, because certainly a woman couldn't be anything more than,
Yeah, in a patriarchal society,
Yes.
that's going to be what's going to happen.
the
father
assumptions.
told the mother what to think and what to do.
Right. Well, I'm so thankful that we've risen above that nowadays. Hey, tell everybody what you said to me about the dark shadows.
Oh.
That is such
Oh, that was an awesome movie.
it's a cool comment.
Dark Shadows. They did a remake with Johnny Depp's plays Barnabas Collins, and in one scene, an older woman is interviewing a younger woman for the position of a nanny. And she's asking her questions, political questions, and she asks the young woman, do you believe the sexes should be equal? And the young woman says, heavens no, if they get the idea that they're equal, they'll mess everything up.
Isn't that cool? Like, thinking if the men get the idea that they're equal,
Yes.
don't mess everything up. That's cute.
That's funny.
It's cute, folks. It's just cute.
Get a laugh. We're not. You know,
We're not, yeah, it's just,
we're not trying to say we're not equal with men or that men aren't equal with us. We're just taking a
Yeah.
laugh here.
Okay, my next topic is this. And I haven't forgotten that we were going to talk about Mo's and Joey's first kiss and what went down with
No,
that.
we're not.
Never mind. We're not going to do that. I got the skinny on it earlier, and I wouldn't want to put that out there on the airwaves. But I hope to goodness I'm not getting Alzheimer's, because I might have said this last week. But if you're watching for the first time, you'll get this the first time around. Anywho, it bears repeating if I did say it, so y'all act like I didn't, and
Okay.
nobody be the wiser.
okay.
I was reading a magazine, a Southern Baptist magazine, and it was talking about being broken. And there are a couple of different ways you can take being broken before God. We know one way is, you've come to a point where you can give up things and devote yourself to doing the right way, or the way of God, and whatever. But there was a book for broken people, and it really set me off. It just got under my skin, and maybe I took it the wrong way, but I don't think so. People that make mistakes or things in life have happened to them beyond their control, or if you've been married, more than once, God forbid, or you had an abortion, or you, sounds like a bunch of women things. I guess women are mostly the ones that they consider broken. But if you serve time in prison, then you're in this category that somebody deemed you're broken. And but guess what? Even though you're broken, God can still use you. Don't worry about it. As opposed to the person that hasn't been married more than once, or that hasn't had premarital sex, or is heterosexual, or never spent time in a prison. Probably should have, but never got caught. But, you're not broken. And I don't like that. I don't like the difference between somebody here and somebody there. One's called broken, but God can still use you. And we're going to have a class for all the broken people in First Baptist of Silly Willy, Oklahoma. And all the broken people come here, and the rest of the people are not broken. But honest to goodness, they're just the same.
Right.
There's no difference.
Right.
There's no difference. And it
There's
just got under my skin and got me a good case of the
That's dandruff.
my dandruff.
Well, I totally see what you're saying. I've always heard the term used much in the same context, that it's you've just kind of reached your bottom. You've reached the end of anything that you're able to do, and you're not. You've been through all these problems and had all these issues, and then you're just kind of there before God for Him to fix everything. And I don't think that's how He works. I don't believe that's how He works. I believe that He's interested from us from A to Z, and He doesn't wait for us to reach some bottom spot before He pulls us up. Now, we may not be able to realize Him in our lives until we get to a point to where we're just, think we can't do it anymore on our own, because, we're the type of people who think, oh, I can do it. But He's been there all along. He's been there helping us all along. And it's very true. He doesn't see, one person who hasn't ever been married or hasn't ever had premarital sex as being, better than someone who's made mistakes. I mean, we're His children.
Right.
Who here or who out there hasn't ever lied or hasn't ever, gossiped about somebody or hasn't ever hurt somebody else's feelings or hasn't ever, done
Thought
something.
about it. I mean,
Right. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. It's not just doing it, but, thinking about it, had anger in their heart towards somebody, had, malice or strife with someone or, like you said, all these other things that you could list that seem, worse, And I don't think God sees it like that. I think you're right that He looks at us all the same. He loves us all. We've all got problems. And if He started listing them, how sad,
Right.
But a lot of people do believe that He keeps a list and that, you have to live this perfect life and you have to, reach this broken state and then God can use you. You have to be forgiven. You have to get to that place to where, you're sorry for everything you've done wrong and then God can do something with you. I think He's doing something with you all along, and you getting to that point is simply maybe you realizing that you can't do it all yourself. But you've never done it all yourself. You just think you have, or you haven't reached out for Him.
Well, I can understand broken, like I'm trying to do everything my way and I'm trying to, go under my power and then I get broken, which means my will that is not always the best is broken, and now I can receive or I can understand or I can do more for God. I think that's a little bit a different definition than what I'm trying to say is these are classifications of people in the church or is in the church. Let's just be honest, and I'm not bashing church. But you have these people over here that are lily white. They, looking like they're living at the foot of the cross. You've got this section over here that people actually delineate and say, these are broken people, these are not broken people. And guess what? I'm just going to come for you right now and say, oh, don't worry about it. You been married 4 times and that's such a shame. And, but God can still use you for something.
Right.
Maybe, we'll let you be the janitor of the church. We'll have to vote on it because, you've got some problems, but, broken people can still be used of God. Duh. I mean, we all can be used of God. And I'm not saying if you've done horrible things, you don't have problems. You do. But we all have problems. I don't want us to have classifications.
Yeah,
Do you see what I'm
exactly.
saying, Ruth?
Right.
Just because I don't drink, anybody who drinks is broken.
Right.
That's stupid.
That's right.
Stupid,
Tell 'em.
Yeah.
That's right.
To me, when I think of broken, I think someone who's fallen down and broken a bone.
Right.
That's really what I think about. And so what do? You get up and you go to the doctor and the doctor fixes it. Well, it's the same thing. We fall down and we feel bad about what we did. I thought this really bad thing about my sister, and so I'm broken. But I just go to God and tell Him, I need your help in this so that I don't think this. I might not say it, but I think it, but I don't need to think it either.
Sure.
And so to me, that's what it is. And all you do is just say, God, I need your help. I can't do this by myself. But I'm no different from anybody else. I'm just glad God doesn't keep the record of wrongs because my list would probably be bigger than the New York phone book.
That's
Big
funny.
in small print.
Well, I guess Ruthie summed it up right there. Kimberly, are you?
No, I hate labels like that.
Yeah,
That's just ridiculous. And it doesn't help the person. It just creates a bigger rift. Like you were saying, you're broken, but I'm sure there's something God will figure out to do with you.
Right.
I mean, why do that to a person, especially a person that's already hurting?
Right.
And who doesn't get to that point in their life? It's something I was going to say anybody over 30 has probably been broken.
We're all broken. Let's be honest.
So there's no point in it. It just creates more division and just supports the hierarchy in the church.
That's right.
Is what it does.
Yeah.
Right. It's more of the us them,
Mm-hmm.
and the sad thing is, it's bad enough that religion has the good people versus the bad people, us versus the Arabs or us versus them. But when you have that inside of that body,
Yeah.
that, the body of Christ, and you still have us and them's, that's really bad. And we're all prone to maybe think that way sometimes, and I'm sure I do, and I don't want to do it anymore. I want to rise above that. I don't want to say us and them. It's like today in Kids Place talking about the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. We used to call them Indians, and anywho, that's another story. I don't know, but it's kind of us and them, still. But I tried to let them know it's good to be different, but you still don't need a us and them.
Right.
We're all the same,
Right.
but yet different. And there's a book out, and I think it's called The Same Kind of Different as Me, and it's an awesome, awesome book. And I would suggest, and maybe we try to get the guy on our show. Seemed like one of them might have fell out and died. Now that I think about it, but think about the same kind of different as me. I mean, that just gives me the cold chills. That's amazing. And we need to look at each other that way. Look, all four of us women up here, we are all the same, but yet we have differences. But we need to concentrate on our sameness,
Right.
and learn from the differences.
We all have hearts, we all have brains, we all have lungs, we all have kidneys, we all have blood going through our veins. So what if one's been out in the sun a little bit longer than the other one? That don't make any difference.
No.
Exactly.
If one's eyes are brown or another one's blue or green or pink, it doesn't matter what, that's just so that we won't get bored looking at each other.
I used to tell the kids that, and probably that's the one thing I can say back from my time of doing the traditional Sunday school that I can look back and say
Got
that was
that
really
one
good.
right.
Other than just the fact that God loved them, if I went beyond that to what was it written down, I know now I was doing some injustice. But I mean, I told him, God's like this wonderful artist, and He has this canvas, and how boring would it be if He used just the same color all the way through it and didn't add shades of that color and throw in some new colors and so He made everybody different. There's no two people on this earth, even identical twins, there's differences to them,
Sure.
And even if their physical appearance is almost, exactly identical, no birthmarks that are different, I think their personalities are different. So, God is, made us special. And I've heard it before that if you cut yourself in half, and you would never find your other half because it's so different than.
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
So, God was just, I think, like I said, this masterful artist that knew what He was doing, and He didn't make it boring so that everybody's the same. And I tell my children all the time, don't look for how you're different than everybody. I mean, you are different than everybody. Everybody's got their unique way of thinking and their unique way of acting, and they look different than you, but look for what you can find in common with them, because we could sit here all day and pick apart our differences, but there are some things that we can always pick,
Yeah.
that are the
Think
same.
about snowflakes. There are no two snowflakes alike, or so I'm told. But when they all fall on the ground, they look the same. They're snow. They're snow. That's all they are. So what if as it's falling down, they look different? When they all get together, they're the same.
Wow. That is what I would call profound.
Yes, very
I don't know about that, but
Well, now, Monica has something to share with us. If her old sorry iPhone will pull it up. What about this cold Antarctica? Something or other.
cold Antarctica.
This is sad.
This is something to actually be thankful for ourselves, not thankful for this condition, but it just took me off guard. My son has a peanut allergy, and to me, that's like one of the worst things in the world. I mean, there's other people that have to deal with, cancer and with their children, and they have to deal with, different, things with their children, such as diabetes, and everybody has their struggles. But this was something that came up. It was a condition, and these two kids were found to have it in Colorado. And when I tell you about it, you're going to why in the world didn't they leave? But these children have an allergy to the cold. It's basically a skin allergy, but they can have a whole body reaction, and the whole body reaction can lead to anaphylactic shock, much like
From
my son having a peanut
cold?
allergy from cold.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, I mean, with a peanut allergy, we can read labels, we can keep our child away from it, we can, educate other people, and we can, do a lot of things to keep him safe. Whereas, think about these children, anytime the temperature starts to dip down, I'm sure their mom is in mortal fear. And it all started when the son had a rash in his diaper, and they thought diaper rash, so they started treating it as diaper rash, and then it didn't go away. It got worse. So they took him to the doctor, and the doctor said, oh, he has staph in his diaper. So they started, treating it for staph infection. Well, it didn't go away, it got worse. And then they said, well, maybe he has winter's itch. And, they started treating him or doing whatever to help that, and it didn't go away. And the kid's arms and stuff were swollen and had all kinds of issues. And so eventually they took him to an allergist. I don't know how they went about taking him to the allergist, but the allergist said, had been doing stuff for 30 years, and he had a good idea what he thought it might be. He stuck an ice cube to the child's arm and waited about 3 minutes and took it away to watch the reaction of the skin as it warmed back up. And the kid broke out in a severe bout of hives. And he diagnosed that this child was, had this condition the name is cold urticaria. And it basically is like a skin allergy, kind of like eczema or, the peanut allergy and stuff. And his sister later found out, and she was at school, walked under an air vent, and her throat started closing up.
Oh my God.
So she has a more severe case of it. She doesn't get as much on the skin, but she has the more of the whole body reaction. So these children take a daily antihistamine, and the sister actually takes 2 different medicines. And then whenever it gets cold, depending on how cold it gets, they can't go out at all. But, in milder temperatures, when it starts getting cold, they have to be bundled up from head to toe really, really good. And the mom, like I said, they live in Colorado, which isn't known for its warmer climate. But the mom said, where do you really go? Because even if you go to a real warm climate, you're going to have people that run ACs more often everywhere you go. Right. So,
it doesn't seem it would matter
made
that
me just
much.
have about a thankfulness for, sometimes, you can kind of get in this poor me thing, and I don't try to do that. I'm very thankful. My son was very healthy as an infant, and most of his life so far he's been very healthy. He has a peanut allergy. It can be life-threatening. We have to deal with it on a daily basis. But, imagine your child not even being able to sit in your home if you have an AC running,
Because I saw this on the news, and it said that if they walk in front of an AC, it could cause them to go into a life-threatening, like a heart attack type thing,
Right.
I think that would be much worse than with peanut allergy, because like you say, even here, most people have ACs, and the child couldn't be where an AC was running,
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Wow, I never heard of that in my
Yeah,
life.
it blew my mind, too. I was like, wow, I just had never heard this. And like I said, it just kind of one of those things that, you're thankful you don't have to deal with it, and it makes you just, realize, your situation could be worse. Or
I think about that a lot. Like, my situation could be worse, but it seems like on a daily basis, I have to tell myself, like, I know I say this a lot, but like with my hair getting gray and stuff, and I don't like it, then I say, what about the woman that has had chemo and she doesn't have any hair? She would probably love gray hair, or any hair. And we're so caught up with the trivial things in life. And, but for the woman undergoing chemo, that's not trivial. But
Right.
for me, it is trivial. And, I'm ashamed when I think of these things, but, it's a daily thing to me that when we get up, we need to say, I am thankful. I'm thankful for adversity sometime, because then I learn patience and I learn to love more. And if I'm thankful for, a smooth day, then I didn't have to, stretch out there that much. But the more you stretch out there, just the more people you can reach. So I wanted us to say something really quirky of what we're thankful for, since, the traditional, even though it's a sad case Thanksgiving because of what happened between,
Later.
later, the white man and the Native Americans. But I think they might have started out on the right foot, maybe, but things just went south. And, that's another thing of us being greedy and being human, I guess. But I want to rise above being human. I don't want to
Using that as an excuse to.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to think of something really, everybody says I'm thankful for, my family and all the time. We say it so much, I don't want it to be just trivial. But, I think I have the best family for me. It works for me. And obviously, I'm so thankful for my husband. And I don't even know if he's even in the room. Oh, yeah, I saw him. That's why I said it. No. But I am. I'm just so thankful for our lives together. And, okay, that was the one that everybody says. But I was going to say something that nobody else ever says they're thankful for. Okay. I'm thankful for this extra roll I have right here because it's winter time and fat people do not get as cold as skinny people. And another thing, if you get cancer and you're already fat and you make a better looking corpse, you know what I'm saying? You don't because they lose weight.
I don't know that we can top that. I don't know if we can top that. What do y'all think?
You look pretty good by the time you pass out. And so, anywho, I'm thankful for the extra winter roll, even though my husband and I are going on a diet tomorrow. Okay.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving week. You
I
can't go
know.
on diet tomorrow.
I have to because it's just getting out of hand. But, I need to be thankful for it. That's right. See, I already forgot because I don't get as cold in the wintertime. So I'm very thankful. And plus, this is a side thing, but you know what? Whenever my husband grabs this, it's immediate turn off. It's just like, yuck. I don't grab my fat. Don't like it. It's like, ugh. But he says he does like it, What do you do? So that's that there too.
Love him.
Love him just the same. Momo, you want to go next or let me pass you and let you come back to
I think I'm speechless. I need some time to think here.
Remember.
I'm thankful that I can still cross stitch. I still have the eyesight and my fingers still work.
That's good. Not everybody would say that. I know I wouldn't. Yes. Oh, let me tell everybody. Ruthie made it. Most everybody that I know this year, she made everybody a birthday card with a cross stitch
That's lovely.
picture on it, and it was so absolutely beautiful. And by the way, my husband's birthday is tomorrow, November 19th, and she made him the best saying. It says, "The greatest man that ever lived was a carpenter, and
You are worthy because he says so.
you are worthy because he said so."
Man,
And
love
so
that, Ruthie.
that was all. That was great, Ruthie. That was good. Kimberly, what are you thankful for?
Remember, it's supposed to be quirky.
Something quirky.
Toilet paper.
I like that. I like that.
I am thankful for toilet paper. That just flew out though. I'm thankful for the internet because it enables me to homeschool my children.
And get on
And it-
Pinterest all the time. Okay.
Yes, that too. And I don't have a problem with the gray. I think it's pretty. I like it.
Oh, you don't have enough of it yet.
Well, I mean,
Well, but hers
well,
is beautiful. I love it.
and yours is pretty too. I don't know why you have a problem with it. Okay, well, I'm just saying, I can see it, and it's silvery, pretty. I like it, so
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I'm not. My hair is so thin. I'm afraid I'll go bald. So I'm thankful it's still there.
Yes.
Time to think.
Let me say something about the toilet paper. And
Okay.
I don't want to divulge too much information, but my husband will kill me. But you know how, for some reason, you get in there and then all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I don't have any toilet paper. And then you look around and you see the roll, and then it crosses your mind. Let's face it, it's crossed everybody's mind. Or am I just the only crazy person? It's always crossed your mind. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm thankful the show's almost over for today. What about y'all?
I guess I'm truth serum. No, come on, something quirky.
What do we feed her for lunch?
I'm just trying to say what everybody else has thought of or did.
I just
No,
usually holler for my
I have
husband.
never thought of being fat would make you a better corpse. That's new. I'm
See?
glad you shared that with us
Yeah.
because you broadened
Okay,
my
Monica, what are
horizon.
you thankful for?
Okay. All right, I'll be thankful for the gray hair. I'll be thankful that I've lived as long as I have. You can go ahead and say the age. Go ahead.
I'm not going to divulge your age.
I'm 39. That's okay. I'll tell him. I'm thankful I've lived 39 years and hope to live 39 more at least.
Okay, well, that's not quirky.
For the gray hair?
I think you sort of took it off of me because I said if a woman was going through chemo and she was bald, she would be thankful. But I never said I was thankful for the gray hair. I just said, you know, she would be thankful if she had gray hair.
Well, I'm thankful that at 78, I'm not partially bald.
That's good because women, we do lose our hair like men do. And so I can tell, like, my front is definitely thinner than it ever was. Mo, something quirky. Oh, okay, the first kiss then. You have your choice. Thankful for something quirky or tell us about your first kiss.
Oh, Lordy. I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking of something to top that or quirky like that.
Well, you said you're thankful for gray hair. So, y'all are babies. Y'all don't really have enough. But see,
Okay,
look-
Thanksgiving is coming. I've got these nice big round cheeks. I can show more in than y'all.
There you go.
Is that quirky enough?
that's quirky. There's apple cheeks. That's what I call them. That is quirky enough. Well, crew member.
Don't let me
has-
go first.
Crew member has said we have. We're running out of time, and Lisa, if you're watching, I hope I didn't scare you away today, and maybe I did, but as you can see, that we just say what's on our mind, and sometimes we get serious, and we want to let you know that Jesus Christ is God. He loves you unconditionally, and all you have to do is just
Love you back.
love him and go with it and live, and you'll definitely experience, you know, all the goodness he has for you. And so if you don't even believe in him, don't fear. He still loves you. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. You cannot do that. So I guess we'll see you next week, hopefully with a guest.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes. Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, and
Yeah.
P.S. I want everybody to pray for Grayson Furlow. He is in the hospital, and he needs our prayers. And Monday they're going to do some more tests on him. He's in Houston, and so please pray. All right.